So today, we're going to dig into this really fascinating book from 1922. It's called Self-Mastery Through Conscious Autosuggestion by a guy named Emile Coué. And it lays out this incredible, and now kind of forgotten, method for really taking control of your own mind. Coué was convinced that we all have this ridiculously powerful tool for self-improvement. But the thing is, most of us are using it completely unconsciously, and a lot of the time, we're actually using it against ourselves. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever been lying in bed, trying with all your might to fall asleep, only to find you're more wide awake than ever? Or what about trying to remember a name that's right on the tip of your tongue, and the harder you try, the further away it gets? Well, this weird little paradox is right at the heart of everything Coué was talking about. It's that all-too-common experience where our own effort just seems to blow up in our faces. Coué said the reason this happens is because there's this fundamental conflict going on inside our heads. It's a showdown. In one corner, you've got your will. That's your conscious, logical side trying to make something happen. And in the other corner, you have your imagination. That's the deep, unconscious picture of what you really believe is going to happen. And in this fight, Coué was crystal clear. There is always, always a winner. So let's dive right into what Coué called the willpower paradox. This is the strange, counterintuitive law that explains why our own minds so often seem to be working against our best intentions. Okay, to really get this, we have to meet the main player, what Coué called the unconscious self. Now, this isn't just some dusty basement for old memories. He saw it as the powerful, intelligent director of our entire being. I mean, think about it. It's running everything from your heartbeat and your breathing to your deepest habits and gut reactions, all of it totally on autopilot. And this brings us to the most crucial piece of the puzzle, the fundamental law Coué laid out. He said that when your conscious will wants one thing, like, I will fall asleep, but your imagination is painting a different picture, like, I'm just going to lie here awake all night, the imagination wins. Every single time, without any exception. He had this brilliant analogy to explain it. Okay, picture a long, wide wooden plank lying on the ground. You could walk across it 1,000 times, no problem, right? You wouldn't even think about it. But now, let's take that exact same plank and suspend it between the two towers of a massive cathedral. Your will is screaming, just walk. It's the same task, but your imagination is playing a horror movie in your head of you falling. What happens? You'd freeze, you'd tremble, you'd probably fall. That image of failure in your mind literally becomes your reality. And once you see this pattern, you see it everywhere. It's the insomniac trying to force sleep. It's the cyclist who spots a tiny rock on the road and, by focusing so hard on not hitting it, steers directly into it. It's even that time you got an uncontrollable fit of giggles in a dead quiet room. In every single one of those cases, your will is saying don't, but your imagination is saying, what if I do? And you know who wins that fight. So, if our imagination is this incredibly powerful, unstoppable force, what does that mean? Are we just its puppets? Well, Coué's answer was a hard no. He believed we could absolutely learn to guide this force, to actually harness it for our own good. And that's exactly what we're going to get into next. Coué had another fantastic analogy for this. He said the imagination is like a wild, unbroken horse. If you just let it run free, it's going to drag you all over the place, probably right into a ditch. But, and this is the hopeful part, if you can learn how to gently place a bridle on it, you become the rider. You can suddenly direct all of that immense power exactly where you want to go. And that bridle, it has a name: conscious autosuggestion. The idea is actually really simple. See, we're constantly suggesting things to our unconscious mind anyway, we just don't realize we're doing it. Coué's method is all about stopping those accidental negative suggestions, the I'll probably mess this up, or I feel a cold coming on, and starting to deliberately and consciously plant positive ones instead. All right, so how do we actually do this? Let's break down the practical steps of the Coué method. It's surprisingly simple. This is the how-to for actually putting that bridle on the horse. The whole process is, you might say, deceptively simple. First, you get into a quiet, relaxed state. Right when you wake up or just before you fall asleep are perfect. Second, and listen, this is the most important part. You have to put your willpower completely aside. Don't try to do it, don't force it. And third, you just repeat your chosen phrase mechanically, almost like you're mumbling, letting the words just sink in without any effort at all. And this right here is the famous all-purpose phrase at the heart of his method. every day, in every respect, I am getting better and better. He suggested repeating this about 20 times, morning and night. And the beauty of the phrase, in every respect, is that you don't even have to think about a specific problem. You're giving a general, positive command to your unconscious and just letting it figure out where the improvements need to happen. So if you remember nothing else, remember this. It absolutely has to be done without effort. The second you start trying to believe it, you're engaging your will. And what does that do? It risks creating that very same conflict between will and imagination we're trying to avoid. The whole goal is to kind of sneak past the critical, willful mind and talk directly to the receptive, powerful imagination. You know, for Coué, this was way more than just a little self-help trick. He saw this as a profound tool for mastering our entire inner world, and he believed it had absolutely staggering implications for both our mental and our physical health. And this is where things get pretty wild. The results that Coué reported in his book were just mind-boggling. He details case after case where people suffering from everything from depression and stammering to serious physical problems like paralysis, tumors, even tubercular lesions saw their conditions improve or disappear entirely. His theory was, since the unconscious directs all our bodily functions, giving it the right suggestion could empower it to literally heal the body from the inside out. At the end of the day, his entire method is built on this one incredibly powerful philosophy. He was arguing that we are not just passive victims of our circumstances or our biology. We are the active creators of our own reality through the thoughts, the images, the suggestions we feed our minds day in and day out. And that really brings us to the final big thought here. Every single moment of every single day, whether we realize it or not, our imagination is telling a story. And that story, bit by bit, becomes our reality. Coué's work is really just a powerful invitation to become the conscious author of that story. So the question to leave you with is, what story is your imagination telling you right now?